Hello and welcome back to another reaction. In this occasion, Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 3, Episode 15. Yes, last time we got the first part of these two episodes, I guess. And it sounds weird, but actually Zuko and Sokka went to jail. Literally, you could give the synopsis of the last episode like that. Zuko and Sokka went to jail, and that's it. But obviously there is something else there. They went with a purpose, obviously to rescue Sokka's and Katara's father. Unfortunately, he wasn't there, and a lot of shenanigans happened. But as in the previous episode was stated, there was a silver sandwich there. Yes, I'm not dropping that phrase. I love that phrase. Even if it makes no sense, as Zuko says, it's still funny and it's still kind of entertaining. But anyway, as I was saying, there was obviously a silver sandwich there. It was Suki. In this case, they could at least rescue Suki. But by the end of the episode, obviously, everything was going way too well for it to be really intriguing, for it to be deserving a second part. But now, obviously, we have our motivation. Actually, the father arrived just when they were about to get out of said jail. He arrived, and this is interesting. This is completely interesting because, yes, the self-esteem of Sokka is going down. Why? Because his plans apparently fail all the time. And obviously, he's taking this very, very seriously, without understanding that, yes, most of your plans are going to fail. Most of them. But you need to keep trying and trying and trying, as Zuko said. Because, yeah, you're going to fail a lot. And this is not an educational cartoon. This is not something, oh yes, teach the kids to wash their face or wash their hands or brush their teeth or whatever. No, this is obviously something to entertain you. But it has a message behind. And obviously, well, not one, several messages in all the duration of the 3 seasons that we are going to see. Well, I'm going to see for the first time. But I love these little details of message that never give up. Yes, your plans might fail, but still, you need to continue to move on. You need to be capable of passing that moment of failure and keep moving and trying to reach your goal. And in this case, the goal is obviously finish the war against the Fire Nation. There are a lot of things that I think I forgot to mention in my preview analysis. Like, for example, the little details here and there for the fire breath of Zuko. Because yes, this is something that I don't remember if we saw it. I think we saw it even in the first season. In the last 2 episodes of the first season, they talk about it. And yes, I rewatched that episode because something in the back of my mind was saying, there is something missing. There is something missing. And that's what it was missing. That you need to practice your fire breath so you won't get cold in the Arctic in that moment. And in this cool box in this case. So yes, obviously, Zuko is more trained, he's more prepared for situations like the average firebender. So he has an advantage here. He wasn't suffering as much as any other people will suffer in that cold box. And again, this is kind of character development, but it's more like the creators of the show are planting the seeds and are actually making them grow. And even if back then it made no sense, or at least make sense for that little moment, this still came up a season later, even a season and a half later. So that speaks volumes of the premeditation of the authors of this cartoon. It's amazing, and that is something that really surprised me every time I see every single episode of Avatar. But now that I mentioned that is something that was missing in the last analysis, let's cut the presentation But first, let me just remind you that if you enjoy the content of the channel, please consider a subscription. And if you enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up. And obviously leave a comment so I know what you think about my reaction, the episode, or my analysis once you see it. So yes, I'm not holding you back anymore with this presentation. Let's just watch the episode, shall we? Okay, I'm back. I just watched a second time the 15 episode of the series of the third season. And yes, even if I consider the fact that maybe this prisoner was going to, well, Squill was going to say, yes, some of your guards are actually not on your side, it might never cross the possibility of him taking revenge on one of the guards. In this case, the guard that really pushed him at the beginning when we just start to see the prison. So it was pretty cool, pretty neat, and I believe the fact that he resisted is what make it more believable. I don't remember the name of this huge guy that actually escaped in the end with them, but yes, it is a fascinating way of still getting you inside of this tension, getting you with this tension, because yes, you don't know what is going to happen, you don't know how they are going to resolve, because yes, the same escape could not work twice, but at the same time managing in a way that is beneficial for our heroes. So it was a great job, the show did a great job while maintaining the tension. And obviously, everything that escalated to that moment. There are several portions in here in which obviously we are going to speak about characters. We know Zuko how he is. We know the father how he is. We had that opportunity of knowing him better back at the end of the failed invasion of the Fire Nation, of the capital of the Fire Nation. We know all of this. But there are other characters that, in my opinion, got a ton, and I mean a ton of character development and a ton of change. And in this case, where I'm not sure if I should say the villains or the antagonists now, because yes, May and Ty Lee were obviously the villains back in season 2 and a lot of time in season 3 in this season. But in this episode, they change thanks to love. And I know that sounds cheesy, I know that Ty Lee changed for something else, but I think this is still love. And let's remember, love is not always the romantic feeling. It's not always, oh, I love you, you're my girlfriend, you're my boyfriend, whatever, you're my wife, my husband, whatever. It's not always like that. Love can take many forms. And yes, I know, it sounds a little bit preachy, and it sounds a ton cheesy, but I think this episode portrayed it quite well without feeling cringy. Because again, I know I say this a lot, but there are a lot of shows that when they try to show love, they make it cringy. They make it hard for you to see it because it's not romantic, it's not realistic, it's just cringy, it's the cliche portrayal of love. But these change the game. Because again, let's take first May. May has her heart broken, and even she wanted to know how or why did Zuko went and betray the nation, because in her eyes this was a betrayal for the nation, and perhaps not so much the nation, but more betrayal of her life. Because again, these are just suppositions. She was having the time of her life with Zuko, because she really loved, I think loves is still the right word, Zuko. This has been proven this episode. She was happy because he was by her side, she was on the palace, she was to her lives that she was accustomed. So she was very, very happy with all how everything resulted in the end. But not only that, Her life, I guess, she was imagining her life going a lot differently of how it's going right now, and especially even before she was captured by the Fire Nation soldiers or by the prison guards. uh, she was imagining, oh, I'm going to be with Zuko forever. We're going to get married, and we're going to continue, and perhaps finish the war because there is no more Avatar. And yes, we're going to be happily ever after. That's what I imagine how she was thinking back then. But obviously, with the betrayal, she said, okay, he abandoned me. He doesn't love me. Why I still have feelings for him? This is why I don't show any emotions, anything like that. So it's understandable her anger, because again, in her eyes, Zuko is the betrayer. It's not her, it's not the nation. He's not trying to help a noble cause. No, he is the betrayer. But what she did after that was what changed everything. Said, okay, screw it. Yes, I fear Azula. Azula is ruthless. Azula is a bitch. Is a bastard. Whatever that awful adjective you want to put on Azula, probably she deserves it. The other one who deserves it more is probably her father, but let's not go into that. May loves Zuko so much that she was willing to sacrifice her freedom, her style of life, everything good that she has going for her, just to save Zuko. That speaks volumes of the love she's feeling for him. And I still think Zuko loves her. Why? Because he didn't want her to be hurt in this war. This was a personal decision, and he knew that the consequences of his decision and everything that could bring to May. So he wanted her to be happy, to be at least content, to be comfortable, and not to be hunted down by Azula or by Ty Lee or by the entire Fire Nation. So I like this relationship that they both have. You can feel that love. You can feel that emotion inside of them, inside of both of them. I love that. Now, moving on for the next character that I want to speak about, Ty Lee. What I said when love changed them is that Ty Lee, my guess, she loves May. Again, not in a romantic way. At least that's not how I feel. Perhaps they're going to make a twist in the end. I don't know. I highly doubt it, because I cannot see it like that. I cannot. The show never portrayed Ty Lee like that, or never. It doesn't feel like the intention of the show. But what I mean is love, like, let's say, like a sister, like a friend. So she wanted to help that friend, even though, or perhaps this is an impulsive decision. I highly doubt that. I think she had enough time to meditate it. In the moment she saw that May betrayed their group, in the moment that she was starting to make that decision, and she in the end said, no, screw it, I'm going to betray Azula. This is an important decision, because without that, May will have suffered a lot. Because Azula, in the moment of the attack, or previous moments of the attack, from what I could see in the animation, and I repeat that a lot, that exact moment I repeated a lot, she was going for lightning, not fire, because usually when they go by fire, they close the fist. It's a closed fist, and that's when the fire comes out. But when the lightning comes out, it's just the two fingers. And she was going for that movement, for the lightning movement. I don't know if I'm speaking out of my ass or is true, but I think lightning is the most powerful form of firebending, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But yeah, that was probably a deadly blow. If not deadly, a paralyzing blow, and I mean permanently paralyzed. So that was ruthless. Or I don't know if Tai Li saw this movement and say, okay, no, she's going to strike her with a lightning. I need to stop her because I don't want her to be dead. I don't know which situation we're having here. I don't know in which moment Tai Li decided to take action. But the action was took. And that is another character development that we have. The independent decision outside of what Azula was thinking. And now moving on to Azula. Azula was always ruthless, was always calculating, very smart. She can read people very, very well, and she knows how are they going to react. She is incredibly smart, and she is amazing, an amazing villain. There is no doubt in my mind for that. The problem with Azula, her weakness is her ego, and that she rules by fear, not loyalty. Because this is what fear causes. Yes, you might have control over these people, especially the low-class warriors or soldiers or somebody who is below you in the chain of command. But when your friends fear you and are your friends because they fear you, and they will not betray you because they fear you, that's when the problem comes. Because in the moment they find something more powerful than the fear they have for you, you no longer have that position of power. And this was evident in this episode. The love for Zuko, in the case of Mai, was greater than the fear of Azula. So this is in the moment that the major defeat, and I consider this a major defeat for Azula, came. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time Azula was defeated. Perhaps the moment in which all of them were against her, and when she has to hurt Uncle Iroh, could be considered a defeat. But I don't think so, because again, perhaps she didn't achieve her goal, but she wasn't hurt, she wasn't diminished, anything. This is the first time she was defeated. This is the first time in which a plan that she had didn't come into fruition. At least that is what I think. So this is a complete humiliation for Azula. An utter humiliation for Azula. So it's interesting to see this in a new light. To see Azula being defeated, being humiliated. Not just defeated, humiliated for the first time. Because she miscalculated. Twice. One with Mai, with May, and one with Tai Li. It was a great episode with a lot of twists and turns. And I like the humor in here. I love the humor that we got. Especially in the last 2 minutes of the episode when they were reunited with Aang's group. What did you bring with me? And all those funny jokes. The person said, oh, I'm new here. Because again, our heroes had a lot of defeats. And this is one of the major victories they have. Especially a moral victory. Because now the morale is a lot higher thanks to because they rescue the father. And yes, I guess the rest of the warriors that were captured during the failed invasion were sent in the same prison that Uncle Iroh was captivated. So, well, was captive. Yeah, it was captivated by the prison. Anyway, moving on. I think I'm missing something, but I cannot entirely think of what is that. Oh, well, yes, there are certain nitpicks I have with this episode. Like, for example, only the 3 were in that Zeppelin, in that war Zeppelin, in that place, or they have to beat the crap of a lot of firebenders and they have to run away. I don't know, it's kind of a small detail. Perhaps they were just there and all the guards that were with Princess Azula went with her, or she is saying, okay, yes, I don't need you, I can do this alone, I'm going to go alone and visit this prison. I don't know. Again, it's just a small nitpick, it's not really much of a deal here. What else? I think I'm missing something. Okay, if I miss something else, I'm gonna say it in the next presentation. For now, I think I really exhausted the topic of this one. I hope you enjoy it. It was a great episode. It was amazing, and I love this one. Yes, you're right. They are increasing the quality each episode. So yes, I have nothing else to say, but let me just remind you that if you enjoy the content of the channel, please consider a subscription and turn on notification. If you enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment so I know what you think about my reaction, the episode, or my analysis in general. Yes, follow me on Twitter, in Patreon if you want to. And yes, I think that's it. I hope you enjoy it. And yes, I have nothing else to say, but thank you for your attention and see you on the next one. Bye.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, give it a like so the algorithm from YouTube will help me out. And check my other videos, share them, and also why not subscribe to my channel and join this community. And as always, I want to thank you for your attention, your likes, and even your dislikes, your comments, which is something I always look forward to read. And yeah, once more, thanks and see you on the next one.